interesting that it unfortunately proved how we are still very backward in understanding Shakespeare, which means that Shakespeare is unfortunately ahead of us probably another 1,000 years. I don't know how we shall ever catch up with him, because he's much more advanced than we can ever hope to be. So, do you know how to operate that? Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 6. Okay. I think I will read until he comes. All right, 1 to 6. Please note the number. Again, probably the number of the sonnet includes. Shall I show you how to get it? Oh, you got it. Wow. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. 1 to 6. Okay, here it is. You see? First of all, notice that 1 to 6 is 12 and 6. 6 is the number of perfection. There's no doubt that there is also numerology in these things. And 12 is probably the age of the boy he's referring to. So, and remember that Juliet is 13. So now, oh, thou my lovely boy. I mean, there it is. It is a pity he left before he could read this. O thou my lovely boy, who in thy power dost hold time's fickle glass, his sickle hour. It's very, very complicated. See how the reference is the sickle, the concept of time, mowing down, causing death to everyone, with a sickle. Now, the sickle, I mean, think of it. What is a sickle? A sickle is a huge semicurve, and to cut the things. And there's also a pun in sick, sickle, sick, because the story of the poems, which will eventually evolve, you will see, is that Shakespeare therefore was in love with the boy, who then also slept with the mistress. Now, in those days, they were convinced that STDs, sexual diseases, were passed by women because they were so misogynistic. They blamed women for everything, and of course the Bible and all that, you know, Eve. So it is continuing that sort of evil concept of a woman being the ultimate evil, and therefore all sexual diseases were given to men by women. It wasn't the other way around. So therefore, the idea was therefore that this mistress gives sexual ill disease, VD, to the little boy, and who then passes it on to Shakespeare, and the series ends with horrifying 2 poems, very beautiful, but if you understand them properly, they are absolutely shocking. Even today, Shakespeare, even in this 21st century, can shock us. They are just shocking, where Shakespeare is saying, I'm desperately trying to cure myself. They thought that mercury was a cure. They would sit in a very hot bath, pour mercury, which of course was enough to kill them. So that was the kind of medical backwardness, or it's not backwardness, it's historical. So we shall come to this. So therefore, already see how the theme of sickness is being developed by Shakespeare. So, who has by waning grown, and therein shows thy lovers withering, as thy sweet self groweth. There is the sweet, which absolutely shows you, therefore, that this is for the boy. It is part of the tradition of the Greek anthology. If nature, sovereign mistress over wrack, as thou goest onwards still, will pluck thee back. She keeps thee to this purpose, that her skill may time disgrace and wretched minutes kill. Even though he went, there's so much there I probably will not. Okay, you could work it out to think of it in terms of the original meaning of the words. Like always grow in Shakespeare is an erection image. So, who has by waning grown? You grow sexually by waning. As a boy, you grow up as a man, and you also grow after you have sex, you then wane and then grow again. All this is, believe it or not, in there. Yet fear her, O thou minion of her pleasure. Now, okay, I'll have to tell you this. She may detain but not still keep her treasure. Treasure always means, again, the female genitalia. Her audit, though delayed, answered must be, and her quietus is to render thee. She, in other words, nature, which is a woman here, this is not the black mistress, she has her quietus by rendering you. Render there simply means by, rendering you, by sexually exhausting you, rendering you, well, take it, by... and her quietus, there's a pun there, she gets her satisfaction, quietus. But quietus is also a technical word in accountancy. All accountants, when they make accounts, they ended up in medieval times quietus est. In other words, they have paid all their debts, nothing is left to be paid. So nature will have her orgasm by exactly rendering you. So now, this is absolutely incredible, and believe it or not, this is being published. It was published for the first time as late as this book. There are two, a sonnet is 14 lines. Here it is 12, and 2 lines are just these brackets. Now you work on this and write thesis, have your own interpretation. Nobody can tell, nobody knows what it means. I would suggest that remember the sickle of death, but also remember that this is almost the human body. Even today, when you draw the human body, you have the top, the torso, and the bum. I mean, if you sort of take this, sort of draw it like that, on 2 sides, enlarge it a bit, it will be the human body. And it is just, this is done 500 years ago. This is where Shakespeare is great. Not the way the gentleman fantasizes as a great poet, etc. Look at the fecundity, I don't mean a pun, of his artistry and creativity. This is where Shakespeare is great, that he has the audacity, technical innovativeness. There is no other sonnet in the whole literature of the world which has the audacity of finishing his sonnet with 4 brackets like this. And so this now is absolutely the end of the boy sonnets. Now the next one immediately plunges into the African lady. All right, so now the next one. The next one, 1 to 7. 1 to 7, you can? Okay. Okay, this it is. In the old age, black was not counted fair. He's referring to medieval times, etc., to Christian dogma and so on. Unfortunately, this is a very common human weakness and failure always cultures take other exotic